Hello.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the F.E.E.D. I am Lisa Lopez-Griggs, and this is my beautiful co-host.
Hey
Who are
guys,
you?
my name is Allysa. I'm so excited to be here and have our guest, Miciah.
Yes. Oh my
Hello,
gosh,
everybody.
Miciah. It's so great to have you today.
Thank
Can
you.
you
Thank
tell
you.
us what is going on there in Liberia? I know that we tried to have you on the show the other day, and you guys had a power, a Wi-Fi
A
outage.
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
sure.
so glad to have you on today, and we wanted to get right into it because there's so much going on in Liberia, especially around epilepsy.
Wow.
And we were talking to you. I just want to give the people some perspective. 57 people out of 1,000 people in Liberia have epilepsy. That makes me want to cry. 75% of the people with epilepsy in Liberia have absolutely no medical assistance. They have no access to, oh my gosh, seizure medication. I have chills all over my body.
So do I.
They have no access to any help. And the other thing that is really, really scary, Miciah, that you're going to talk to us about today is that when people have seizures, especially these young people, they are sequestered, into the forest and into specific areas where they're kind of ostracized from everyone else, and many times, oftentimes, losing their lives because there's so much judgment in Liberia around epilepsy that when these children have seizures, they are killed because of their epilepsy, because of the judgment that is around that with regard to the demoniac in the Bible that was really just filled with demons. It really didn't have anything to do with epilepsy, but so many people have taken that out of context. So thank you so much for joining us today. I know before the show you were explaining to Allysa one of the things that just happened to a child there. Can you talk to us about that?
Okay. So I was just in the market, and I was called by a friend who is called Perkins. Perkins' boy. He called me and said there was a child that was seeing lifeless, and he needed me to intervene. He was taking this child to the place called the Forbidden Bush.
What is that?
And that bush is where children that have signs of seizures, they take them there in the form of sacrifice to a god or a higher deity. I'm not going to call the god name for cultural reasons. And when they do that, the child is cast away. He or she will never come back to the city area. And because of that, when I went there, I was like, this child only thinking maybe it could be epilepsy. I'm like, they're not epilepsy. She's cursed. She has a demon in her. So I said, no, can we take her to the hospital? And though it was an argument, but yes, finally we got her to the 14 military hospital. Ambulance was called, and then we took her to the 14 military hospital. That is why that was what I was explaining to her.
It is so beautiful that you can advocate for these kids. Seriously, we give you so much credit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
and
welcome.
I'm sure it's really, really hard on your heart. How is that child doing now? You took to the hospital, and then what happened?
For now, I am not allowed to discuss about her because when we talk about these things, we talk about the secretive facts that has to do with this child is actually cursed, right? And the mind here is she's a demon possessed person. Even her family will not want you to see her visibly. So it will have to take me days to go to the hospital, show some ID cards that I just need to know about the health about this child. And the doctors there will place her in a specific room that is called an emergency room, where no other person will be allowed until she recovers. And if she doesn't recover, the hospital will turn her over to the traditional council. That means she has to go to the forest, the evil bush.
How many
Wow.
children are in the forest?
Uh, there are 4 counties in Liberia that are specifically highlighted for epilepsy. Number one is
Did we lose him?
Oh, I
Yes.
think so, Allysa. We'll wait for him to come back
Yeah.
on. Maybe he'll go out and come back on. For the audience that's just joining us today, this is Miciah that we're speaking to from Liberia.
Wow.
Allysa and I, before the show, had an opportunity to speak to him, and we are trying to build a bridge from the US to Liberia with regard to the epilepsy community. We want the epileptics to know what is going on, not just in the US, but
Everywhere.
around the world, especially in areas like Liberia, because the epilepsy, as we were explaining, 57 people have epilepsy out of 1,000. It's a really, really high statistic, and 75% of those have no access to medication, healthcare, proper access to even being diagnosed, because now he's saying there's so much judgment and false narrative that's going on with regard to these children being sequestered to this forest
The
because
forest.
they have this judgment and this dichotomous thinking that these children are filled with demons
Yeah, like
somehow.
possessed by an evil spirit.
Exactly. And so it's very primitive there. And my work in Tanzania, which is it's a different part of Africa. Liberia is in West Africa, so it's way on the other side than from Tanzania. But I can tell you, and I think one of my questions would have been, I have a lot of questions for him, but
Yeah.
the average salary for a teacher in Tanzania is $25 a week. So we're not talking about a lot of money, Allysa, to help these epileptic children. And I really want Phases of Epilepsy to get behind what is going on there in Africa. Miciah, thank you so much for joining us. I think you're muted, but if you can unmute, then I would love to ask you, because Allysa and I were just talking about it. We want to get behind supporting the work there with these children in the forest. So for those of us that know nothing about Liberia and epilepsy, where do we start? What can you tell us that can help these children there in this forest?
So the beginning is, this is a mentality that you can't you it's like it's impossible for the mind. Now when I saw your post, about the seizure, it was like I had to copy what happened to me. I mean, I'm a victim of the same thing. So let me put my story first. I am a
Yes.
victim.
Yeah.
I'm a victim, and because I'm from the semi-middle class, my parents took it as it was spiritual, but let's at the hospital. Now, at least 65% of Liberia is that have never seen education before. They don't know education in our setting. In your setting, education will mean to rewrite and have access to some level of understanding that you will have. Now, these people see this epileptic as a curse. So to explain to them means it's like telling them the gods don't exist, and you are bringing a new god or a new gospel to them. So the first thing is about 700 children are cursed in one county, which is, let's take Grand Bassa for an example. Now, that's 700 children that are called cursed children or epileptic children have never seen education, are cut off from the real life. They are excluded from today's society and have never seen or never had an opportunity to know that they have this sickness. Now, For us here, the major need to our ministry is, like I said to you, Mrs. Griggs, what my government will need the most is somebody that is able to transform the life of the children, not the individuals. Because if you go to an elderly man who has served this deity for 50 years and tell him that deity is no more, he won't believe it. But if you go to the child and say, what you have is now a curse, it's a sickness, and in Jesus' name you can get killed, and he or she can get killed and get educated, I think it's a whole impact to about 1 million of people, the next generation of Liberia. And this is where Liberia is. And this is where my country is. And this is where I am. I'm speaking specifically from my side. I was opportune to go to school. And among my friends, I only had one person that had the sign of epilepsy. She fainted and never came back to school. She was expelled from the school and never came back. Now, imagine 700 of those children in one community that have never had access to read, write. Let me use the common example for us to say A, B, C, D. They've never said it before. All they know is they are cursed by these gods and they are to be in the wilderness till they die. So if I'm getting your question is what can we do? Is that the question?
Yeah, and I think it was good for you to say that you are someone that had epilepsy, and how just so that Mike, our producer, who's in the background, who we love, Mike, we love everything he's doing for Faces of Epilepsy, the community, and then his vision to start the F.E.E.D, which is a podcast for epileptics globally, all over the world. There's 50 million epileptics all over the world. And so this is really a labor of love. But I think it's really important to understand that you and I actually met through my parents because they're in ministry and they've worked in Liberia right before the Civil War. And I believe they met your parents at a conference. And what I was saying right before you came back on, Miciah, is the work that I've done in Tanzania. The average salary is only $25 a week in Tanzania for a teacher.
That's good.
It's very, very inexpensive to meet the needs of one child in Tanzania right now is $35 a month to sponsor one child, to give them clothing, food, education, so on and so forth. So the US dollar can go very far in Liberia. If we were to partner with you and we were to help you there in Liberia with the children, what kind of finances do you need, and what are you looking for to help these children there in the forest?
Okay, right now, let me say this. For Tanzania, if it's $25, let me say they are blessed than us. I mean, if a family can afford $25 in Liberia, they have a millionaire here. We live below $1.50 a day.
Okay, it's $1.50 a day. So, okay, I want to make sure this is
$1.50.
really, really important for our audience to understand. I mean, like really, really important. It's $1.50 a day that they make as a wage, okay, in Liberia. So when you understand that these children, okay, with epilepsy are not only being ostracized, meaning they're being taken away from their families, okay? Many of them, as he just said to you, are being sacrificed to deities. We're not calling them gods because they're not gods. They're not God, okay? These are demonic deities and idol worship, okay? And we are even experiencing some of that in our own country. A lot of stuff is being exposed right now with, I don't know if you've heard about it there in Liberia, with the Epstein files, where they're eating babies and children, and you know, they're big into cannibalism. And so, you know, when you understand this, I mean, you know, they were doing this in Hawaii too. I mean, they were sacrificing children to the god of Pele in Hawaii, you know, years ago before Titus Cohen went there. And the largest revival came to Queen Kamehameha at the time, and she became a Christian woman. And then they stopped sacrificing children to these volcano gods. So it's very real. This is not crazy talk. This is not woo woo. Okay, this is real voodoo that goes on in these countries. So I want to make sure that people really understand that when they give to somebody like yourself and to children of epilepsy in Liberia, their dollar is going very far. So I would imagine that one of the first things that these children need is food. I would imagine they need rice and beans. It's probably the biggest thing they need, because that's what they needed in Tanzania. And we were dealing with over 2 million orphans in Tanzania. So what can you speak to us a little bit about that, Miciah? And maybe tell us what are the needs there right now with the children?
So I think you said some of it. One of it is food. Now let me come back to something here. The entire country lives below $1.50, or you say $1.50, right? So I don't know whether it means $1.50 to you in America, but for us we say 50 cents because if you look at the rate, is 250 Liberian dollar. Now, children that live with that are epileptic, they eat something called palm cabbage. It's from the palm. They have to cut the palm and then boil it on wood and eat it. They do not eat rice. They are starved by their own family, not by different person. Their own family. So when you say rice and beans, it's like saying, I don't know why you guys know jollof rice. It's like saying jollof rice for them. It's like saying for 30 years I've never eaten food. I'm eating rice today. So right now, food will be the number one to give at least the first 700 children a hope. I mean, just a smile to see them eat in a pan, for them to eat in a leaf, like the big leaf. You gotta put the food in the leaf for them to
Yes.
eat
Yeah.
because they are called cursed. So you cannot give them the pan. I mean, pan, pan, our rubber pan. So they have never eaten in a pen. Some of them have never even seen shoes because they left their parents sometimes 3 years old, 2 years old, some of them 6 years old, and they will have to have intercourse, get married to a guy, and that guy is called the young Yahweh, and he's a fallen angel according to him. He's the son of the fallen demon, and he pregnant them, and the children, if they do not have the sign of the seizure, they bring them to the city and they will be mutilated. I mean, female genital mutilation will take place, and they will be called wizards or witchcrafts, and they will have to rub chalk on themselves until they reach 40 years old to serve the deity. So, but if you have the sign, which is having a seizure, you go back to the forest. Presently, the immediate need is food and education. That
Mm-hmm.
are the two immediate needs. In Liberia, my wife and I are willing to provide a building that is for academic. We are willing to provide a building to gather 700 of them, feed them, if possible, shelter them if the resources are there. But I cannot be able to just shelter them right now because it's like a tradition. I can't just go in. I must
Mm.
I must be careful what I'm doing. This is Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I gotta be careful. So let's
That
Yeah.
say
was my first
feeding is the
question.
first thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was one of my questions
Mhm.
actually, because my first thought was, are these children getting sheltered? But then you answered that question and are they getting fed? Because usually if people aren't eating, that's the number one, trigger for seizures too,
Yeah.
especially if they're ripped away from their families, they're upset, they don't have the proper health to not have seizures, because I know some seizures aren't able to be cured with medicine. So, or ketosis, there's so many
Mhm.
questions when it comes to this. I, wow, Lisa,
Yeah.
I
This is a
seriously hearing that, and especially as an
Mhm.
empathetic, like I have chills all over myself. Guys, if you are listening to this,
Mhm.
please put in the chat how you're feeling. Like I just
Yeah.
it's even so hard to even wrap my head around this happening in other countries. Like how are you feeling, Lisa? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, You know what? My whole worldview changed when I went to Africa.
That's true.
And I never went to Africa. I only went to Africa. Now, I don't want to start crying.
Hey guys, real fast, I just want to jump in here. Love
Yeah.
that story, Lisa, and maybe when Mike is off, we can tell that. Micah,
Yeah.
how do we get food to you? How do we get food
Yeah.
to these children? What is the best way to do that? Now, you also said that you have to be very careful in how you take care of these children due to kind of social and, you know, political and religious aspects there in Liberia. How can people help? If there's a social media campaign where people in America and other places in the world can send messages, emails, Facebook posts, who do they send those to? How do they use their voice to help you? And how do we send food? Now, a lot of times it's easier to send you money or food. If that's something that you're having a problem with due to where you're at, that's fine as well. But how do we get the food to you then? Like, is there an address? Is there a specific ship bulk address where we can send pounds of rice and pounds of beans? If not, is there an account we can put money in where you can purchase those things? And how do we put pressure on the local government, if you will, to help out more? Or who do we help via social media campaigns to help? What can we do to help specifically, Miciah?
Okay, so I'm going to take the answer from the end where you started. Where do we help? So the first thing is Michael, Lisa, and the rest of the team. I don't want you sending me money. I don't want you sending me things. What we want is you manage what you have and you serve as a board, right? Like a controlling or a directive group that says, today we are feeding 500 children. Education in Liberia is needed for this amount of children. If you send your money to me, it's good, but how do you get report? My wife and I want to be held accountable for something. We want accountability. You will want accountability for resources that you will generate. So what we want is create a way that you raise the money, you control the money, you have a control system of the money, and say, Matthias, we want to feed 500 children. Can this amount feed 500 children? Can the beans and rice that we have um, feed 500 children? We say yes. Do it this way, and you go to the port. We don't want to be in control of your money. You have control of your money. You know what you have. But what we want is to see some child or a child in a rural community life change. So if the opportunities are there, the first thing is I'm in the city. I live in Mosserado County, that is Monrovia, and there are ways, there are banks that people send money through. But I don't want Lisa or Michael or Leon sending me money. What I want is create a board that you are controlling F.E.E.D. Liberia. You are board of trustees of Liberia. You are directors of F.E.E.D. Liberia. And if you control me, I do what should be done. I don't want to control myself. You control that team, and I'm on the back. I'm willing to serve as much as I can. So the opportunities are here. They got banks, we have shipping lines, but trust me, they are expensive for the ordinary Liberian. So I'm gonna stop right there.
So, Mike, I know you jumped to, okay. I love the idea. We were talking about all of this even before the show anyway. So I love that it's called the F.E.E.D, Mike. Maybe it's another good, the big F.E.E.D.
Wait,
You know, the epilepsy F.E.E.D. I mean, it's just perfect,
That's
Mike.
great.
The way that God ordained all of that. Miciah, I'm just going to say from me at Faces of Epilepsy, you can definitely count on us. We're going to figure out something. We're going to put a plan in place for sure. I know Mike's on board with that. I want to ask you one other question. What about medicine? Okay. In the U.S., we have a lot of different medicines. We have Keppra, we have, you know, Depakote, we have, I mean, Allysa, you know, a lot of Mike knows a lot of the medications that we have here. Also, we have different supplements, you know, that we recommend to epileptics, like, you know, high omega-3s with polyphenols, different things like that. But what about medicine access? Do you have access to medicine for the epileptics in Liberia?
So it's like I'm gonna be saying this over. These people are not accepted in society. So like this medicine you call is my first time hearing it because I don't even know they exist. So like I said, the last time I talked to the health minister, she was like, can they come to Liberia and can you guys do a publicity? Can there be an awareness that shows that these people are not cursed? They we know the traditions that say so. Education have told us that they are not cursed. But how? So we don't know those pills. So if medicines are available, the government of Liberia can give you a whole spot where, I mean, acres of land where you can have treatment, you can have a medical center, maybe build a mobile center that you can treat them. Um, that is just to give them better health care. And they are willing to do so. Trust me, the government is willing to do so.
Yeah, I'm definitely willing to come to Liberia. I
Same.
love Africa.
I'll go
so
with
you
you,
don't have
Lisa.
to
Me as
twist
well.
my arm. I love Africa. That will definitely change your worldview, Allysa. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
But Miciah, you know, we just so appreciate you so much. I did not know that. Like, you guys have no access to any of that. Are you willing to connect us with all the like powers to be, people that, you know, the health minister, the different ones that have some authority, so that we're able to get, you know, into the right spaces if we are to come or when we do come?
Yeah, that would be
so
very important.
if you are coming tomorrow, the health minister is gonna say, I'm cutting off my work. If you are coming tonight, the president is going to say, I'm going to call off my meeting tonight and want to meet you guys. Like I said,
Okay.
in my country, I'm one of the toughest. I'm not praising myself. I'm one of the toughest social rights activists. I started doing advocacy for clip lips and palate because I was the first Liberian to go on merchantship. And people born with clip lip and palate are also called cursed children. They are sacrificed to the god called Laji, and he swallowed them in the devil bush. I'm not gonna go that far. There's too much. Um, and I'm the first Liberian in 1990 to go on Anastar. Then that was called merchantship. So I think your mother knows, Sis Lisa. I think your mother knows. And I was born with clip lips and palate, and
Mhm.
because of that, I started doing activism for more children. And today, there are smart tree in Liberia. There is merchantship. There is Save a Child. There's Save Liberia. A lot of activism group has come to this country and say, okay, because of your testimony, we are doing this. Then I started doing advocacy for water. In Liberia, we have immense water, but there's no safe drinking water. So most people drink from creeks, or we call them rivers. Maybe you want to call them rivers, but creeks. So I started trying advocating for water till we have Save Life, that is called Living Water today. They are in Liberia, and Living Water is giving hand pumps to Liberians in rural communities. About a few weeks ago, the Latter Day Saint gave 48 pumps to rural communities. That is because of my advocacy across my country. So if you are coming to Liberia, Lisa, Michael, trust me, I don't have the resources, but my government is willing, the health ministers is willing, and if you give your email today, she's going to send you an email. After we get off the line, she's going to send an email to you asking of a request, maybe one-on-one call. She want to talk to you. She wants to know you. She wants to hear about what we can do in my country.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if I will have to live another life, trust me, this will be the biggest thing I've ever done for my country, to save thousands of lives from epilepsy to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it'll
That's
really,
what we're here for.
yeah, and it'll really change the trajectory of how the country looks at epilepsy 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30, 50, 100 years from now, how they look at epilepsy. And we just need
Okay.
advocacy there. So I get it. I understand completely. Mike, I think wanted to come in and jump in. Mike, did you have some things that you wanted to say about this?
just wanted to confirm everything to our listeners from Miciah. Just wanted to make sure everyone knows how they can help, what they can do right now. It sounds like Miciah, you're saying that we here at the F.E.E.D can set something up to help you. We're going to reach out to the health minister with email. We're going to do what we can starting now to build a strong foundation so we can help on a consistent basis.
Sure.
Is there anything you want the people listening and watching to know specifically? What do they need to know? If you had a couple of minutes to really speak to them, what do they need to know?
Thank you very much. And this could be the best question I would want to answer. Today on this platform, I hope I'm not talking only for Liberia. I'm talking for full countries in West Africa, and I know children in Guinea, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso who knows that my prayer for them is to see another life given to them through hope. Um, our people in West Africa need hope. Like the name is called F.E.E.D. We need food and we need education. Every day I have to see a kid go back to the rural area and say, "My mother said I'm a witch because I can faint." I'm a victim of that. And if my parents were not at the middle class or not from the class that who have understood things differently, trust me, I will also be sentenced to death, to a bush where I will never come back to this city. My wife is also a victim, and we are together in this thing for our continent. We know we might not reach the entire world, but we know we can reach Liberia. We trust Liberia. We love our country, and we pray that someday someone can help our country. Give 700 children education, give 700 children food, give 700 children an opportunity to have a life again. I pray that whosoever that hears us and hear my voice today sees that there are still hope for some child, a baby girl somewhere, a child somewhere, a boy somewhere that has never saw education before, never seen books. They are here. Lisa, Mike, you guys are better off than us. My prayer is you guys can come home. This is our home. The land are here. I'm willing to do everything. If I will have to die, can I die for this cause for my country? To give 700 children an opportunity to get food to eat between now and next month, so their lives can be changed, so their lives can be touched. I wish I could say more, but I pray that God hears my heart and not my voice. Thank you.
Yeah. Africa is so special. It's just such a special place, you know. I was so fortunate to go there 2 times last year to Tanzania and just be on the motherland. And it's very special. It's very, very, very special. I didn't want to leave. So, is it safe to come to Liberia? I know that you guys had a big civil war, Miciah. Is it safe there?
I can say for me, I can proudly say yes, because anybody coming to Liberia will be secured by the government.
Okay.
And if you are coming tomorrow, I can make a call. Securities will be placed in order to get you from the airport to your hostel. I mean, we safe. Trust me, Liberia is a nice place to be. It's just like we have some funny tradition. Sorry, I said funny, but that's a fact. But Liberia is a safe country. We had a civil war. Yeah, sure, but we moved on. It's just that we've not moved to education yet, but we moved on. There's nobody killing randomly anymore. Yeah, Liberia is safe now.
So glad that you guys came out of all of that. Yeah, I know that was a hard time for your country and your people. We love you so much. We're
Me
so
too.
grateful that you were able to join us today, especially with it just being so primitive there with the Wi-Fi and just the struggles, you know, that you guys have. We really love you. We want to help you. This is a divine appointment. You know, you are an epileptic.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, epileptic. And I knew that you had also and had the surgery for the cleft, you know, lip. Did Doctors Without Borders help you? I was just curious. I know you mentioned the Mercy Ship. Was Doctors Without Borders working in Liberia as well? Maybe Mike is familiar with that organization. Were they there in Liberia helping?
Let me say yes. And they are called Medicine Sans Frontier in Liberia. Um, and when they came, some of them lost their life because of the same tradition. So in the urban area, yes, but in the rural area, no. They were unable to go to the rural area because of the tradition. They have to kill you with spear or bow and arrow. So trust me, it is not as easy as I'm saying it. There are times you will come from work and you will see the body of a child. The side the head is not there. The stomach, the intestine is tied to a palm tree that is called the god. And that after 3 days, that body would disappear. They said the palm tree ate the child, the palm tree. So, the fear, the trauma. And I am a Liberian, and this is why I am making a case. And Lisa and Michael and Leon, I want to do a video, a rural video of the forest where you go
Yes.
and see children. I want to
Yes.
do a video
I want to see
where
that.
you go and see these children and see their lives, see how they live. Yeah. And I pray that I do get support. I have cameras already, but transportation and I need some papers. Yes. It's what I don't
Yeah.
have right now.
Okay. Yeah.
We're
Well,
definitely going to help work with that.
yeah, we're definitely going to do what we can to help support you. I know Mike is, he's definitely on board with this as well.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do what we can to support this work there and put
Okay.
some things together. I think it's really important that we talk, after the show about how we're going to help you to get the right facility in place for these young people,
Yeah.
and really find out what that budget looks like for them to be fed every day, educated, and be able to have medication. I would love for these children to have medication that can put their seizures to a stop. And I don't know how that's all going to work, but I know a few people. And so, and I
We
know,
try and make it happen.
yeah, and I know one thing for certain. Okay. This you can
Okay.
definitely take to the bank. Okay. Not one woman in the Bible that God did never answer her prayers. Every single woman that prayed in the Bible, God heard her prayers. And you know what? That wasn't always the case with men. God didn't always answer the men's prayers, but he always answered the women's prayers in the Bible. There's not one time where he didn't answer a woman's prayers. And so we're going to pray for you. We're going to support you however we can, little or small or big, however God sees fit. And we just thank you so much for being on the show today. We love you
So
from
incredible.
the US to Liberia. And let's see what we can put together with the feed.
Yes. That was
Absolutely.
incredible.
Please, Miciah, keep in touch with us
Thank
so we
you.
can
Thank
work
you
with
very
you.
much. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, we're gonna do everything we can to work with you
Yeah.
here. You are a strong man. There are so many men in the States here who like to consider themselves strong, who couldn't live one day of your life.
Mhm.
And I mean that.
Yeah.
And your story has touched me as well. And I want to thank you. And we are going to be on board to help and make things better. You are a powerful, strong man. And I hope one day to have the strength you have and the faith you have. And thank you for
Amen.
showing us all a
Amen.
good example of what a real strong man in the world is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again, Miciah. We love you so much. From all of us at the F.E.E.D, let's make sure that Liberia is on the map, that the children there are getting the help that they need, and that you're a part of that. You're a part of that.
Amen.
It takes one person to send and one person to go. And
Yes.
Miciah is the one that's going. He's the one that's willing to step up to the plate and say, I want to make a difference for generations to come in my country of Liberia, for the children that are in Liberia. So with that said, we love all of you guys from the F.E.E.D.
Yes.
Have a great night, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. Miciah, you're amazing. Don't ever
Have
forget.
a good night. Thank
Love
you
you,
very
Miciah.
much.
Okay,
think-
Allysa. Well, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
afternoon.